Hello and welcome to my 60-second book synopsis. How many of you remember 96-97 where a young lad called Kabir Mulchandani introduced Akai TV in India, Baron International. I'm sure you would know, and that he sold at damn cheap price at that time. I'm sure you would remember Videocon International, Giant at some point of time. Where are these organizations? The third example which I am going to give is of United Breweries, Kingfisher. You would know that the owners had to change the hand. At some point of time, all these organizations were good organizations, but unfortunately, rather than becoming great, they become below average or defunct. 1 year back, exactly 1 year back, that is February 2023, I talked about a book called as Built to Last by Jim Collins and Jerry Porras. Today I am going to talk about one more fascinating book which is called as Good to Great by Jim Collins. This book was published by Penguin Random House UK in 2001, and it primarily talks about 11 companies who were good and have become great over a period of time. Though this book was written after the earlier book, author writes that this is actually a prequel to that earlier book, because the companies which have become great, that book talks about how to remain the great, because that book talks about the companies which were great for say many decades. This is different. So what does this book have to say about? Let us talk about that. Of course, the first step any point of time is identification of those 11 companies. From 1435 companies, author has identified 11 companies. Now, the sole criteria for this, or primary criteria for this, is the stock returns or share market returns, as we call it in normal parlance. What does author say? Let us read it verbatim. The fundamental rule they have adopted is 15 years of cumulative stock returns at par or below the market, general stock market, punctuated at some transition point, then cumulative returns of at least 3 times the market over the next 15 years. So the growth has to be like this, some change and then grow like that. That is what they have identified as the key criteria, and from 1435 they brought down to 11, and obviously then they have done the deep analysis of all those companies, and then they observed some comparison companies to compare these companies and some underperformers. Author has brought down this 1435 to 11 in 5-step process, which he has given in the book. It's interesting for us to read. Author has identified 7 characteristics of these companies which he thinks is important. I am looking at my laptop simultaneously because I may need to read something from the book. That's the only reason. These 7 characteristics, and then 8th one is how the earlier book and this book commingle each other, or what are the characteristics from this particular book are used in that book and vice versa. So that the last one is a summary kind of a thing. I'll talk about only 2 characteristics, and I'll leave you to read remaining ones, because otherwise you will not read the book and only look at my synopsis. First one is leadership, level 5 leadership. Now what does that mean? Level 5 leadership is, again he has categorized leadership into 5 categories, starting from the lowest level, which is highly capable individual, to L5 level leadership. What are the characteristics of these people? They put company before self. They ensure that their successor is more successful. Third is modesty. Fourth, they believe in the principle that let work speak for itself. Now, on the lighter side, I think the last characteristic, whether that is in the current market scenario, when you have to show everything, or you have to even show what you will not be able to do in this stage, whether this is a valid point or not, I do not know, but this is definitely a good quality personally if you ask me. The next one is first who, then what. Now this is something which I am still not able to digest, frankly speaking, but author has compelling reasons to believe in the data that he has produced, and then from the data he has arrived at his particular concept. What does this mean? It means that you will onboard all people which you want, which are important enough, and then you decide what you want to start, rather than deciding what you want to start and then onboard the people that way. So let us read what it means actually. Okay. So author says that the executives who ignited the transformation from good to great did not first figure out where to drive the bus and then get people to take there. No, they first got the right people on the bus and wrong people off the bus, and then figured out where to drive it. Now, obviously, right people in a sense, right people with right attitude, right capabilities, and who match the management philosophy. These three combinations will help you to take the business to the next level, is what author claims. Then the remaining chapters talk about the remaining characteristics, and the last one, appendix, is a detailed analysis of how they have arrived at these numbers. Lot of data. Quite interesting for those who are hungry for data. This author also got some criticism, of course. Two I would name. One is that some companies like Fannie Mae and Circuit City, they actually got into a lot of trouble. Then Abbott and Wells Fargo did okay types in stock market. So the questions from critics is that how is that these are companies are great and how are they suffering that way? It means something is wrong. The other criticism obviously is that the reference points which you have taken may not be right. Author has written two more books after this. One is Great by Choice and second is How the Mighty Fall. Probably he has given answers to that, but I have not read, so I will not be able to comment either on the criticism or on the books. But for me, this is still a nice reference book and which acts as a good refresher. And if you ask me, a lot of things said in this makes a lot of sense. So I would suggest people from top management especially do read this book, and this will be of immense help. I think that's all from my side. I have already reaching nearly 9 minutes. So I'll stop here. Obviously, I'll post this in my LinkedIn page, on my Facebook channel, as well as on my YouTube YouTube channel, which the name is Books from My Eyes. If you think you like it, please do subscribe and like it, and do inform your friends and colleagues so that they can get the alert every month and you can also get. So thank you so much. Goodbye.